end of Blockbuster Video is near. 2 of 3 remaining stores in the country closed this week, leaving just one final location in Oregon. In the meantime, a Midwest-based chain of video rental stores is still going strong with more than 700 locations. New at 10, Ricky Mitchell shows us how family video has managed to stay relevant.
Places where you can walk through aisles of movies and physically pick something out to take home. Not only is family video still in business, it's actually thriving.
Remember walking into your neighborhood family video on a Friday night? The smell of buttery popcorn in plastic video cases, the hum of fluorescent lights, and the sight of shelf upon shelf of movie covers? It was a ritual for countless families. Parents and children alike would roam the new releases wall and the staff picks section, searching for the perfect film for movie night. In the pre-streaming era, family video stood as a cherished reminder of the days prior to streaming, when families skimmed shelves filled with VHS tapes in search of the perfect cinematic complement to their Friday pizza night. The store layout was open and inviting, bright green and orange signs, carpeted floors. Regular customers were greeted by name by local staff, and there was a true community vibe.
It's a community, basically.
Teenagers browsed the horror and comedy sections, while kids hovered near the counter, eyeing candy and video game rentals. In an era when leaving the house was part of entertainment, family video was more than a store. It was a social hub where neighbors bumped into each other in the aisles, and families bonded over choosing a movie. It felt safe, familiar, homegrown. The chain's very name, Family Video, reflected an inclusive, community-focused reputation it proudly cultivated. There was a comforting routine to it all. For many, these stores weren't just retail outlets. They were a treasure trove of memories. In its heyday, Family Video was a time capsule of 80s and 90s culture, a place where the latest Hollywood hits sat shoulder to shoulder with classic films, and where choosing a movie together was an event in itself. Family Video's story begins long before the DVD or even the VHS boom. In 1946, Clarence Hoogland founded an appliance and electronics distribution business, Mid-States Appliance and Supply. It was Clarence's son, Charles Hoogland, who would later stumble upon the idea that launched Family Video. Charles found himself stuck with a large inventory of movie videotapes that were hard to sell. Back then, a single VHS movie could cost $50 to $80, far too expensive for most families to purchase outright. So in 1978 in Springfield, Illinois, Charles tried something new. He opened the Video Movie Club, a membership-based video rental store. Members paid an initial fee, around $25 for a membership, and about $5 per rental in those early days, to borrow movies instead of buying them. The concept took off. Renting movies gave average Americans access to films they otherwise couldn't afford to own. The Video Movie Club quickly spread to multiple cities as more people caught on to the convenience of renting. In the 1980s, the Hoogland family eventually renamed the growing chain Family Video, a name that reflected the family-friendly local spirit of their stores. Early on, the company had to overcome skepticism from Hollywood. Movie studios even threatened to sue this upstart rental business before realizing that video rentals were actually a boon, helping promote their films to broader audiences. By focusing on customer service and community, Family Video quietly grew under the radar, even as bigger competitors emerged. One key to Family Video's expansion was location. While Blockbuster and other giants concentrated on big cities and affluent suburbs, Family Video focused on small towns, rural areas, and modest suburbs that the big chains overlooked. If Blockbuster was the flashy national brand, Family Video was the comfortable regional player that popped up in that strip mall down the street or the edge of town. This strategy allowed Family Video to thrive with less direct competition. By the 1990s and 2000s, Family Video stores were sprouting up across the Midwest and beyond. The chain expanded steadily, planting stores in neighborhood after neighborhood until it operated in 19 U.S. states, plus a brief foray into Canada in 2012. At its peak, Family Video boasted around 800 locations nationwide, making it the largest video rental chain in the United States after Blockbuster's decline. For context, even as late as 2013, the year Blockbuster shut its last corporate stores, Family Video was still opening new stores, defying the odds. How did Family Video manage to outlast Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, Movie Gallery, and virtually every other video store chain? It turns out a few savvy business moves made all the difference. Family Video survived nearly a decade longer than the big three of video rental, something even its leadership found a bit surprising. Unlike Blockbuster, Family Video owned most of its store buildings and land. This was huge. Owning the real estate meant no exorbitant rent payments to landlords and no sudden lease terminations. CEO Keith Hoogland liked to give an example. If a Blockbuster and a Family Video were across the street from each other in similar buildings, Blockbuster would be paying rent, with periodic increases, whereas Family Video paid no rent at all and could even rent out unused space to other businesses. Family Video essentially became its own landlord, a strategy that saved money and even turned a profit by subleasing parts of their large stores. Over time, many Family Video locations were right-sized. A store could shrink its footprint, and a tenant like a Jimmy John's sandwich shop or a Marco's Pizza would move in next door, paying rent to Family Video's parent company. This flexibility gave Family Video a lifeline that Blockbuster, locked into rigid leases, simply didn't have. Owning their buildings wasn't flashy, but it was perhaps Family Video's most powerful advantage. Family Video fostered customer loyalty with small but meaningful perks. Rentals were cheaper, often under $3 a night, and late fees were often negotiable or forgiving. Notably, kids' movies were free to rent in many Family Video stores, a gesture that delighted parents and kept families coming back. These policies built goodwill. While Blockbuster became infamous for harsh late fees in the 90s, Family Video's approach was more lenient and community-minded. They even ran programs like Report Card Day, where kids who earned an A in school could rent a movie for free, blending education and entertainment in a way that made local parents smile. All of this cultivated an image of Family Video as the friendly neighborhood video store that cared about its customers. The late 2000s and 2010s brought a seismic shift in how people accessed entertainment. Netflix went from a DVD by mail curiosity.
Keep them as long as you want, without late fees. Then when you're done, look, prepaid envelopes. Return one, and they'll send you another movie from your list. It's easy.
In the early 2000s to launching its streaming service in 2007, fundamentally changing viewing habits. Redbox machines popped up outside grocery stores and McDonald's, offering $1 a night DVD rentals at convenient kiosks. High-speed internet and on-demand content became more accessible, and soon services like Hulu, Amazon Prime, and others joined the fray. The very idea of driving to a store to rent a physical disc was starting to feel outdated to a generation of consumers. Family Video certainly felt the impact of these market shifts. Blockbuster, once the titan of the industry, declared bankruptcy the same year and closed most of its stores soon after. Streaming and digital rentals were clearly the future, yet Family Video persisted. In fact, by the end of 2016, after others had folded, Family Video had become the sole surviving national video rental chain in the US. It was the last man standing, as Keith Hoogland quipped. How did they manage to hold on? Part of the answer lies in their customer base. Family Video deliberately served regions and demographics that were slower to shift to streaming, places where broadband internet was perhaps less reliable, or communities where habits died hard and a Friday night trip to the video store was still a tradition. In these neighborhoods, there remained a loyal market for physical rentals. The drift to other forms of home video viewing was a long-term challenge, but Family Video still had areas that valued the rental model. It helped that many Family Video stores were in smaller towns, where a video store might be one of the few options for entertainment on a weekend. As one company insider noted in 2020, Appealing to the youngest generation was tough. Gen Z is a tough market to get into a video store, he admitted. But millennials and Gen Xers who grew up on rentals were still coming in, often now with their own kids. By the late 2010s, however, even the mighty Family Video was showing signs of strain. The number of stores slowly began to shrink from its peak of 800. In 2019, Family Video still had nearly 600 stores. Impressive, but clearly down from its heights. The convenience of streaming, the ubiquity of smartphones, and changing consumer habits were eroding the foot traffic. The leadership remained optimistic. Keith Hoogland even mused about the possibility of VHS tapes making a nostalgic comeback someday, like vinyl records. But the golden age of video rental was undeniably fading. Still, no one could have predicted the final blow that would soon hit, an unexpected catastrophe that would bring even this resilient chain to its knees. Family Video's decline, when it came, happened faster than anyone anticipated. The chain had weathered 40-plus years of industry change and outlived all its former competitors. But in late 2019 and into 2020, the dominoes began to fall. The company quietly began closing underperforming locations as revenues slipped. Then, in early 2020, the pandemic hit, and it hit Family Video hard. The numbers tell the story of this rapid decline. By late summer 2020, Family Video had permanently closed roughly half its stores, around 250 locations, in an effort to stay afloat. They tried to consolidate and keep the strongest stores running, but the situation was dire. Longtime customers hoped the chain might pull through. After all, Family Video had beaten the odds before. The company even launched a last-ditch nostalgia-driven campaign on social media with the hashtag #SaveTheVideoStore, urging people to support their local rental stores. Loyal patrons shared their memories, and a wave of nostalgia did bring some folks in for a final visit. But it was a Hail Mary pass in a game that time had effectively already won. In January 2021, the inevitable became official. Family Video announced that all remaining 250 stores would shut down for good. The chain began liquidation sales, selling off movies, video games, CBD products, and even the shelves and neon signs from the stores. The last day to rent a movie was set for January 6, 2021. After that, customers flooded in one last time to buy DVDs, or simply to walk those familiar aisles and say goodbye. News of the closure struck a chord nationwide. It truly felt like the end of an era. With the closure of the last major video store chain, an era really has come to a close, remarked one film professor, noting that as surprising as it was that Family Video lasted so long, the final curtain had finally fallen.